God sent Esther as a teenager to Persia. She not knowing, but him knowing, she'll come to a point in her life that Mordecai, her transition coach, her midwife as it were, would one day say to her, "You have come to the kingdom for such a time as this." Helping her understand that your life isn't random. Your life isn't without a plan. You are not an accident. It's not unfortunate that you were taken into King Xerxes' harem. This is a privilege. God thinks very highly of you. You are the young woman that God believes is capable, that God has privileged and called to be the one that will be used to avert a genocide attempt on the Jews. And that's what she did. But she was there way in advance. And so when you started this church, is not when God started this church. He sent you as an advance supply for a demand that would come on this church 20 years later that you didn't know would come, but he did. And he got the right people here for the right time so that you would keep this church intact, so that you would keep the narrative and the flow and the history and the faith and the hope strong through that time, and that you would bear the weight of a bridging generation, and that you would bridge this church from its before and after for however long it takes, and you would stand your ground and not feel disoriented or just in pain and want to get off the table and walk out. You would rather feel, I must be thought very highly of by God because he brought me at the right time. He believes I'm far more capable than what I think I am. You are the transition generation of this church. You are, and these leaders are, the most important generation of leadership this church has ever had. I totally believe this, and I hope you do too. So you're God's advanced supply for a demand called transition that is now upon you. I want you to step into 2015 lifting up your head, being confident and proud, feeling this is my watch, this is my shift. I was called for such a time as this to this church. I am going to step up and fulfill my calling because God said to Esther, Mordecai said to Esther, if you don't step up and speak up, help will come from somewhere else. But she was God's first choice. She had the first privileged opportunity to make history. And she did step up, or we wouldn't have a book called the Book of Esther. So you may have joined this church 10 years ago, but you joined for such a time as this. And I want to be like your Mordecai today and kind of be a little bit of a transition coach and say to you, you also were born for such a time as this. You have a high calling. You're supposed to be here right now.